it's fascinating. And so then we saw the values of all these ordinals skyrocketing while nobody wanted to touch NFTs anymore. And so it was weird because people thought digital collectibles were over and it was a fad, but in fact, it wasn't over. There was interest on them now that they were on this Bitcoin ecosystem, maybe because it was new, but also in so many ways, it was now guaranteed by the most robust network out there. Your whatever collectible art was on chain, not subject to some Amazon web server going down. And all of a sudden you had massive interest, which helped your business model because then people came to you and used OrdinalsBot to start minting ordinals everywhere. And now they are everywhere. How big is this market now?
So, I mean, it's getting towards the hundreds of millions. So that's pretty impressive in the space of a year, and has been breathtaking for us to watch. Actually, like there's a hot mint or a hot token project launching on our platform nearly every day, which is great for us to service and just astonishing to watch unfold, right? So.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked about the collectibles. Next, the BRC20 becomes interesting. So now, can you have a fungible token on the Bitcoin ecosystem? Now I can hear Max rolling over in El Salvador right now, freaking out. But this becomes really interesting. If you can now have a token you can trade on this most robust ecosystem. Now, I was in Dubai in January and I attended the Satoshi Roundtable, which is like this invite-only event with super OGs, and there's no media. We couldn't even disclose the location. And it was just people at these roundtables where we would get together, and BRC20 was one of the hottest thing there. Everybody was talking about it, what it was, its limitations. A lot of big players were there, and I was learning and listening to these conversations. What is BRC20? Can you explain it? Obviously, it sounds a lot like ERC20, which I guess is intentional. Maybe walk people through like what the thoughts are, and maybe even quickly, what is ERC20? A lot of people might not even know.
Okay. So yes, like you say, BRC20 is designed to be a Bitcoin fungible token standard. So where people can have a set number of tokens with a particular ticker, and then in theory, what we're really trying to push forward is so-called Bitcoin utility. I guess to your main question, ERC20 was a very famous token standard on Ethereum. BRC20 is now a growing in fame token standard on Bitcoin. And the reason why you want these standards is to be able to allow any individual really to be able to create their own token economy easily on a particular blockchain. So if ERC20 on Ethereum has almost certainly been like one of the killer features of Ethereum, right? Like it, the market cap of all the ERC20s from a financial perspective is greater than Ethereum. In most markets, it can go up or down, but I think it's been certainly the killer feature of Ethereum. Obviously, I think we've seen this huge interest in that ecosystem taking off in Bitcoin, and from sort of most people that I know in crypto think that Ordinals and BRC20 has been like the strongest narrative in all of crypto in the last year, and I think probably a large part of that it's always hard to know, but I personally think that any mature crypto ecosystem needs a non-fungible ecosystem where you're storing individual bits of data and figuring out use cases for that, and then you need a token ecosystem. And the reason why that's interesting is actually, firstly, it just drives speculation, right? Like the being able to have people come up with an idea and a concept and attach it to a token has proven I think, over the last 15 years to be very, very powerful, and almost like the seed of Bitcoin was that there was this first kind of decentralized token at scale that lots of people could buy into. But an innovator, right, like wants a particular organization to be able to leverage a token economy. And the power of a token economy is that you can get in the hands of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of users and drive forward a particular thing or idea. And like we've obviously seen the concept of DAOs, so decentralized autonomous organizations. But what's great about these token economies, and I think Bitcoin is the best example of it, right, is that at scale, you can have millions of people who feel part of a thing and are able to make impact in how that thing is driven forward, either by communicating on channels like this one or at like the core protocol level. So you can still impact Bitcoin, but in all these, when fungible tokens work well, they do pretty transformative things. I think on Ethereum is probably the best example of where hugely impactful companies and organizations have been created out of just releasing a fungible token and then adding features to it and making it something that the crowd can use. So you need to look at organizations like Compound, Aave, Uniswap. I personally think those businesses have really transformed crypto. And I think you're going to see that in Bitcoin at scale in a big way over the next year to 10, 20 years.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.